Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for June 26th. So, a couple of things today before I get started. It sort of leads into what I'm going to talk about. So, for those of you who maybe are not Canadian or maybe, aren't following the news, Pope Francis has been here in Canada for the last couple of days. I think he's going to be here for 2 or 3 more. And he is on kind of a tour of the places, or some of the places anyways, where there were hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of unmarked graves found from residential schools. The color orange I'm wearing today is not happenstance. It's specifically chosen because it is the color that has come to represent that healing and reconciliation. The Indigenous people of Canada, the First Nations, have been horrendously treated. And we are now at that place where, healing must begin. So the government has issued their apologies. The Pope is working his way through issuing his. And by the way, the United States has a horrendous record when it comes to their Native Americans. So, this has to do with people coming from, Europe and immigrating here and just deciding that because they got here, as in North America, the land was just going to be theirs, and whoever was originally here just really didn't matter. My point in bringing this up is twofold. One, for those of you who are interested, I ask that you just take a moment and send some healing energy. This is the first step. This is not the crescendo. This is the first tentative steps to bringing understanding and clarity and dignity to those people who experience that community, who experience I think the Pope called it heinous evil, and I'm going to go with that. It's a long road, but the reality is, as we shift to a higher dimension, things have to be healed. That you just can't bounce away from them and say, okay, well, that's in the past, we're not going to deal with it. Because as anybody knows who is in any sort of a generational kind of situation, whether it's alcoholism or abuse or whatever it is, it goes from generation to generation. And here in Canada, the last of those residential schools were closed down in the 1970s. This is not something that, wrapped up 100 years ago and no one can quite understand why it's hanging on. It's recent. It's generational. And as I was watching parts of it yesterday, I couldn't help but think that there will come a time, and we all pray sooner rather than later, that the Republican Party of the United States is also going to have to atone and apologize for trying to cram their religious beliefs or doctrines on the rest of the country. For those of you who did not happen to see Rachel Maddow yesterday, she did her first segment was on Christian nationalism. And, it sort of started back, I don't know, like 1930s or something, and it is being resurrected by sort of the extreme right wing. And Wisconsin has 2 people running for governor. One is Shapiro, and the other one is this person, this crazy person, in my opinion, who is all in for, the white race. End of discussion. We don't even want people of other races in our party. We just need to be white, and we need to be of this religion and this belief structure, and that's all there is to it. That's what's running in Wisconsin for governor. So it's out there. Marjorie Taylor Greene is another one sprouting this nonsense. There's a lot of really crazy going on right now within the Republican Party, and they're becoming more and more unhinged. Apparently, Matt Gaetz was on a tear about how it's funny that the only people who are pushing back against abortion rights literally are those people who nobody wants to impregnate in the first place. This is how out of control that party has gotten. We are watching the destruction of it, even though it is appalling to watch. So today I want to look at sort of like, consequences, things, what is the effect of this on that? So the first thing I'm going to look at is Jen Thompson, because I can tell you with the sort of guilty verdict, or non-innocent verdict, however you guys say that, on Bannon, the gloves are off now, okay? The gloves are absolutely off, because now Ginny Thomas, it's been made very clear, if she doesn't want to show up voluntarily, she will be subpoenaed. Because what's happened is the January 6th committee has finally been given some teeth in terms of having those subpoenas adhered to and followed and respected. So there are people out there who are, going to end up having to come to the table whether they want to or not. Now, she can show up and she can scream the Fifth Amendment 900 times. That's her right. But you don't get to just show up. The last one was her lawyer saying something to the effect of, well, you, J6, have not given us sufficient cause. Why do you want to talk to her? Your reasons aren't good enough. Excuse me? Our reasons are we said we want to talk to her. That's all you need to know. Get her here. And so this kind of shenanigans and stuff are going to come to a little bit of a halt as people start to realize that the nonsense is not going to be gotten away with. The other thing that's been very interesting is apparently two of Vice President Pence's top aides have recently been in front of a federal grand jury. Well, what does this mean? This means that the Department of Justice has convened a grand jury and they are hearing witness testimony. So, for those who are like, it's just not moving fast enough, whatever, it is moving. And I've said it before and I'll keep on saying it. The Department of Justice cannot afford to screw this up. They only got one chance, one shot, and it's got to be perfect. The other thing that came to my attention the other day, sorry I'm rambling, but there's just like a lot of news that I want to get out there. Came to my attention just the other day is apparently that defamation case with E.J. Carroll. This is the lady who said that she was assaulted and raped by Trump in a New York department store dressing room. Apparently, whatever the latest block that they were trying to put up was rejected by the judge just recently. And so that is another case that is going forward. So let's think about this just for a second. If that case goes forward and she doesn't settle, and I'd have a feeling she is not going to settle. She's pushing this for a reason. If it doesn't settle, she has DNA on that piece of clothing. She saved it. Trump is going to be, he's going to have to submit a DNA sample. That's all it's going to take if that happened, and if his DNA matches what is on that garment, that's like guilty. Okay, there's not a lot of way to wiggle around that. Does that not then make him literally like a registered sex offender, guilty of rape, sexual assault? I'm just asking, just asking. So what I want to do today, and I hope I can like stick to it and not go off on tangents, I want to do a bunch of sort of mini reads and just take a look at kind of the energies as they're floating right now on different situations and scenarios. So come on down because I have a bunch of questions to ask. Let's get going. Okay. Let's start with most recent first. Okay, let's take a look at this lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit, um, where it's Carol versus Trump. He tried to use some excuses when he said that she wasn't his type. He was acting in his capacity as president. And that apparently is what the judge said. Okay, well, you're not president anymore. That's enough of that. Let's move on. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Carol versus Trump, Carol versus Trump, Carol versus Trump. She has the power. She's not necessarily trying to be like exonerated for him, like saying nasty things. She is looking for flat out exposure. Of him. She wants everything to come to the surface. All of the stuff that has been hidden, all of the stuff that he throws money at and thinks that that's going to make it work for him. She is out to, and she has the goods. She's represented by the Empress. She has the goods. And she is looking for him to be exposed for this deed. He can't be, okay, actually, I think I'm wrong, because if he's not convicted of the assault, he can't be registered as a sex offender, but he can certainly be referred to as the guy who lost his defamation suit when he told the person he assaulted that she wasn't his type. I guess that's the way around it. I misspoke as I think about it. However, the good news is in her court. Okay, there's the fool. He's not going to survive this one. This one is going to hurt. It really, really is going to hurt. And he can put it off, and he can try to delay it. He can do whatever he wants. She has the power, so she is going to go ahead with this, and she is going to be vindicated, get the results she wants, however you want to say it. Looks like that's going to go in her favor. Let's take a look at this Ben Shapiro in Wisconsin for governor. And I'm not purposely, but I sort of am. I actually can't remember the guy's name. Massiano or something. In any case, doesn't matter. I'm choosing sort of consciously to not really say his name because we're not going to give that kind of nonsense energy. So let's ask the question this way. Shapiro, Governor, Wisconsin. Shapiro, Governor, Wisconsin. Shapiro, Governor, Wisconsin. Let's see what his chances of success are. Or the other guy's failure, I guess. Okay, interesting. And you saw the way I put the cards back, right? So again, he is represented by the Empress. So this is actually talking about not only is his name, the attractiveness of him going to expand and grow, he is going to be well supported, it looks like, by everyone who isn't sort of old and white and racist. So, people of other ethnicities, um, white people who think this is absolutely outrageous, women, um, because I don't know what the current status of abortion laws is or is not, but you have to know if this other guy gets in, it's just forget it. They're going to be like gone if they're not already. So, um, he's going to have a lot of support that continues to flood his way. The any of the confusion or well, I don't know who he is, I don't know what he represents, but he's Republican, I'm Republican, I'm going to vote for him. That's going to get cleared away day by day by day. As we move closer to that election, any confusion about what this other guy represents and what his beliefs are, that's going to be clarified. The glasses are going to come off, the smoke is going to clear, the illusions are going to be erased. It looks like it's going to be a difficult race. I don't see this as a cakewalk, but it absolutely looks like ultimately, at this point, anyways, energetically, it looks like Shapiro is going to be sworn in as the next governor. All right. Let's take a look at, I don't know if you saw yesterday, I think it was. They were talking, Beto apparently is only like 6 points behind Abbott in recent polling in Texas. So that is super, super good news because let's not forget, I believe it was Trump won Texas by something like 55 points. So there definitely seems to be a bit of a hard swing towards sanity in Texas. Let's take a look. Beto wins governor, Beto wins governor, Beto wins governor. There was, I started to say, there was a lady on the news yesterday who has always been Republican. She had no intentions of ever voting anything other, but she wanted to go check out Beto and what he was saying. And she came away from it saying that, she's pretty sure he's got her vote. So yay, lady from Texas. Wow. Okay, this is interesting, right? We're getting a lot of queens overall. This is overall, we're talking about really strong, powerful female energy, feminine energy that is going to be driving the next elections. And because what's going to happen is the economy is going to start settling down. Okay, gas prices are coming down. Apparently, the prices of fruits and vegetables are coming down. It's going to hit a sort of some stabilization. It's not going to bounce right back, but as months go by, you're going to find things stabilizing. And so it feels as if energetically, inflation and the economy are not going to be as big an issue as people think they are now. What's going to happen is the other issues, voting rights, women's rights, um, gun rights, gun lobbyists, like getting the guns off the every street corner. Those issues are going to start becoming more and more amplified, and so what you have is communications, ideas that are more in tune and more really connected and in keeping with what actually Americans want, as opposed to this right-wing insanity that's going on. That's going to sort of really start to gel. Beto has the right message. He is going in there. He's not horsing around. He is going after Abbott. He is going after all the crazy stuff. I mean, honestly, like, I can't think of anything. You've got that, it's a school shooting. You have the grid collapsing last year in the middle of a freak snowstorm. I mean, there is so much that Abbott has done wrong in Texas, and Beto is not pulling any punches. He is going for it, and his message is getting through. It is resonating, and as of right now, it looks like he is going to be, I don't know, first Democratic government in Texas, and God only knows how long. All righty. Let's take a look at Biden's health, shall we? Click on Biden. He's going to be fine. I know people have said, he's not going to make it through his first term. He's sick. I don't see it. I've never seen it. I've always said he will complete his first term. I have said that the role of president is taking a toll on him because he has walked into an absolute disaster. I know there are people out there who are going to disagree with me. That's okay. No one said I was right all the time. But I think he's going to make it through. And I'm not sure, I've never been quite sure if he's actually going to run for a second term in office. I think a lot of it is going to be dependent. They say it's going to be actually dependent on whether Trump actually ends up with the nomination for the Republicans. If he does, then I think that Biden is going to, I guess, be more inclined maybe to run for a second term. But right now, let's just focus on this term and on his health. Tell me about Biden's health. Tell me about Biden's health. Tell me about Biden's health. Okay. Listen, you've got the Five of Pentacles, you've got the Five of Wands, and you have the Eight of Cups. So this is what I'm going to tell you. He needs additional support because he's carrying an awful, awful heavy load right now. But make no mistake, that support is moving towards him. I'm not focused on the two people here as much as I'm focused on the pentacles and that stained glass window. There is hope coming. There is light shining through the windows. There is a healing, a sort of a sense of charity that will start to take place. The part of it, honestly, is his compassion. It just knows no bounds. I mean, it's part of why people like him. He's real. The petty nonsense that goes on around him, the infighting, Joe Manson, cinema, all of it is making him a little bit crazy in the head, okay? Because there's a part of him that just does not understand. And part of this is his age and the political sort of arena the way it was for all of the years he's been in politics. Part of him just cannot understand how this party cannot completely come together and move forward as a unified force. It frustrates him. But his focus is on getting through this term. I think he will leave after this term. I do not see him leaving before it is done. But his focus right now is on the midterms, and his focus is doing what needs to be done to put the Dems in a stronger position in the House and the Senate so that they can get the work done. Ultimately, his health is going to be fine, and he is going to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. Queen of Swords here is interesting because, again, it's speaking to me to some of the rights that the courts are trying to strip, right? So the same-sex marriage, contraception, even the abortion, there are things that are going on either within, the House and Senate or through executive order, but he's going to get things moving in a more forceful way as we go through the rest of summer and into the fall. He's going to be okay. That's my take on it. Okay. So I'm sure most of you have heard by now that two of the publications, one in New York and one in Washington, owned by the Murdoch family, have turned against Trump. They are saying that basically his inaction on January 6th disqualifies him from any sort of office again. There are still the diehards, the Hannitys and whoever on that Fox primetime kind of hours, who are still very much in his court. But honestly, even other, people on the channel itself are saying, listen, this doesn't look good for Trump. It looks really bad. This is disastrous. It's not a good look. You're going to see that sort of energy continue. So let's just take a quick look at how Trump is doing in terms of his own support. Interestingly, unfortunately, they're talking about sort of a swing, the Murdoch, sort of a swing to Desantis, which is I don't know, I'm not sure it's that much better. And I said this before, and it's true. DeSantis is smart, intellectually smart. He has a law degree. He comes from, I don't know if it's Harvard or Yale or one of them. Trump is stupid, in my opinion. So that makes DeSantis more dangerous. And frankly, I think he's already proven that in Florida with some of the crap he's pulled and apparently is getting away with. I digress. Where was I going with this? Oh, Trump support. Strength, Trump support, strength of Trump support, strength of Trump support. Yeah. So these initial cards are talking about, first of all, make no mistake, everything in his world boils down to two things: his money and his ego. That is what is motivating this. I told you before, I suspect that he's going to announce a run in, I just think he may very well get primaried. Choices. He's going to continue to get kind of bad news. He's going to continue to see that diminishing of his support is everywhere. And it is going to continue to erode. People are walking away from him. And because everything about him is money and ego, he's not going to see the writing on the wall, basically. He's going to continue to push forward and try to make things the way he wants them to be. Make no mistake, he is terrified of going to jail. And he really does see the presidency as the only way to avoid that. He is not going to be without support, but he is not going to have the kind of support that he enjoyed in the past. I said it before. I don't actually believe that he may announce that he's running, but I think when it comes right down to it, he will not run. Announcing is another grift. It brings income. And, that's what he needs. Apparently, one of the Trump PACs has spent over $2 million for the lawyers of Republicans who have been testifying in front of the January 6th Commission. And now there's talk about actually investigating that to see if simply by paying for the lawyers, if that is in fact not a form of witness tampering. So there's that. Let's look at Clarence and Jenny, shall we? Let's see what their story is. Jenny, Clarence, Thomas, Jenny, Clarence, Thomas, Jenny, Clarence, Thomas. Okay. They are being shunned. People are pulling away from them. People are trying to disassociate, pull back. He has gone a step too far with his words, with his ideas, with his notions. She was sort of like, reading her own press releases and was throwing money at the Ellipse rally. Now, I can't tell from this whether she was directly or indirectly involved or even aware of the actual plot and plans going on in terms of the insurrection, but she definitely there's definitely some stuff that the committee wants to know from her. And she, as this all was going on, going back to, January 2021, she really felt that she was invincible because of the position of her husband. What she failed to realize was that it was very much the position of her husband and her behaviors that was actually going to force them to have to leave or walk away from the situation they are currently in. And there are people leaving them. You know what? He got what he wanted in terms of the courts because he bullied his way through and pushed his way through, but he has alienated a lot of the people around him. And I said it before, Biden has 2 more Supreme Court justice nominations that are going to be available to him. And I believe that Thomas's seat is going to be one of them. Okay. Let's just take a quick look at Desantis. Because right now, if Trump doesn't run, or if Trump loses in the primary, I don't think it's going to go that far, but anyways, at this point, DeSantis looks like he is oh my goodness, he's still on the shuffle. It looks like he is sort of becoming the number 1 choice. Now, you've got time, right? I mean, federal presidential election is not for a while yet. So there's time for those tides to change. DeSantis current trajectory, Desantis current trajectory, Desantis current trajectory. Whoa, okay. Right now, he is still holding the power. He has mastered the ability to play to people's biggest fears and worries. His message is unfortunately getting through to those people who he needs to vote for him. In the short term, it very much looks as if he's probably going to win the race for governor. I hope not, but right now he still energetically is looking good. He has the right support behind him, and by right support I mean the support of the Republican Party. And as they move farther away from sort of the real negative energy around Trump, he is going to continue to consolidate his power, but he will be stopped at some point. It makes me wonder if there aren't investigations going on about him, regarding him, very quietly. I don't know. But for right now, in the short term, he's going to continue to amass power. He's going to continue to push ahead. He is going to bully his way into the position that he wants to achieve for himself. But he has trouble coming. Yeah, he has trouble coming. I think it might be about money. Okay. So there we go. That's today's reading. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of the support. It's fabulous. And anybody's looking for a private reading, I am currently booking kind of second week of August. All right. Take care. Be well. Send out a good thought for reconciliation and healing everywhere it is needed. Bye for now.